Boom, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, otherwise known as the Moist Golden Retriever, but you guys can just call me Zabu. Welcome. You like that name? The Moist Golden Retriever? Mm-hmm. Ew, not even a wet one, he's just moist. Moist. That's a gross word.
Some people actually hate that word.
Some people actually hate that word. It's crazy. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Another episode of the Afro Podcast. I know it's been a minute. I've been uploading very far, with a lot of days in between each upload, but I've just been more chilling, enjoying a little bit of life right now. Trying to stay motivated and whatnot through work and doing some things for family. But luckily, I was able to get you guys those 2 WWE videos. Once again, thank you guys so much for the support and love, for everybody who watched, shared, liked, commented, or just in general told me that they enjoyed it. Or even if you would have told me you didn't enjoy it, that's awesome too. I really appreciate everybody. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this podcast. As per usual, the show notes are available down below if you'd like to skip to a particular section. But I do highly invite you and welcome you and suggest that you stay for the whole podcast. It's not going to be too long, not anything too crazy, but you are just going to sit here and talk and, just kind of chill, hang out. So I got the things on my phone. Let's go through the very first thing on the list. Now, first thing on the list, right? Here, we've got the whole Met Gala crap. I don't care about the Met Gala. I think it's cool because people who are really into fashion, I have no idea what the fashion world entails, and I don't have a high sense of fashion, but I think it's a cool event for people to show up, and they just show up and show off outfits, and then they just walk, have interviews, and it's not.
They usually have a theme.
Okay, so it's a theme, and then what is there a performance there? Is it just like an event? It's a fashion event.
Pretty much.
Okay, for sure. So it's just like a fashion event. So obviously there are a lot of stars who came in doing their thing. Of course we see the usual people like Future who put on the most random outfits and stuff like that. But then the biggest story of the Met Gala that made it to my ears, which that's how you know it's big if it makes it to my ears. I'm just kidding. Is Kim Kardashian wearing Marilyn Monroe, right? Yeah. Her actual, literal dress from 1962 that she wore to sing Happy Birthday to JFK. Apparently the dress hadn't been washed since that day. But, people are always going to put stuff like that, so maybe that's not true or whatnot. But the important thing is, Kim Kardashian paid $4.8 million to get the actual original dress, couldn't fit it because of her fake butt, and I heard she lost 16 pounds really quick to fit in it as well. But yeah, she couldn't fit the actual dress. So I wanted to give some thoughts about the whole story. Just gave you guys a little bit of context, and this is how I'm feeling about this whole situation. So I'm very confident everybody has at least heard of Marilyn Monroe. I did some research on her, just a quick little Google search, read a couple articles, and read the wiki page, even though I know Wikipedia could be false, but it seemed pretty accurate. I don't know, actually, well, how can I say it seems accurate when I don't know anything about her? But from what I've been able to collectively gather, is she was, this groundbreaking woman in, the 50s and 60s, who was this beautiful woman. I'll point out naturally beautiful. We'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later. Naturally beautiful woman who was an actress, a singer, a model especially. She was on the cover of the first Playboy magazine, which I would say is a more tasteful way to promote women's body and image and stuff like that. Obviously it's very much a nudie magazine for little teenagers to sneak and find their dad's secret stash. And that's their first look at naked women. At least it was until Google and the internet was a thing. But, it's very much for the pleasurement of men and women alike. But I think it does it tastefully in a way that celebrates the look of women's bodies and stuff like that. And gives, interviews and gives people, a really big modeling career and the whole Playboy mansion. To me, it's tasteful. I don't know. As a woman, you agree that Playboy does nude modeling and whatnot more tasteful or celebrates women's bodies better than a place if Hooters tried to be we're about women's body positivity here. And it's no, you're not. You're obviously going for the sleazy dude who's watching a football game eating wings and wants to make disgusting remarks at teenagers. I think Playboy does it better, right? Yeah, okay. So she was on the first cover of that. did all these amazing things. I would recommend you Google her. But basically, she was kind of seen as like a sex symbol, but was also like breaking ground as a woman who is talented, who is beautiful, and is very much celebrated for her beauty and, you know, like women's natural bodies. Even though I guess it could be kind of unfair to say like, well, she makes everybody feel better because it's not. I didn't really see her like aggressively saying that out there back then, but that was also around a time where women were looked at as you cannot be your own person. You know, you need to grow up and get married to a man and stay home and have his kids and take care of the house, and he'll bring home the check and he'll go to the wars. You know, it was very much, she was around for that time. So having a woman that was kind of like commanding crowds and men and making all so much money off of these movies and these modeling pictures, especially with her troubled childhood being in, I think it was foster care and whatnot. She did a lot of things for like women and people in general. So I think she's a very celebrated person. She is definitely one of the most iconic women, especially the pictures of her like holding down her dress as it's like blowing up and so on and so forth. And so when you take everything I just said, and there's even more that I didn't say that, you know, a lot more people may know or research, and everybody can have their own opinions, but you can't deny that she did good. I mean, obviously also with some bad, but like, you know, everybody has a yin and a yang. She did so much good, and for the out of everybody in the world to, okay, first of all, to have the dress, to buy the dress is one thing, that's fine. To wear the actual dress, out of everybody in the world, was Kim Kardashian, the person who is famous for tapes, nude pictures, but it's not in the same way Marilyn did. It was, I'm not happy with my body. My whole, like, nobody in my, well, first of all, my family isn't happy with their body, and my dad's not happy with his gender, so I didn't mean to cook her dad like that, you know, you could, or I guess her now, mom, whatever. I'll respect the pronouns. Her mom now. But basically, they didn't like the way they looked, so they used all this money to get a bigger butt and these lips and this face and then the upper chest section, like all these things to basically completely modify their body. And you are literally like the face of prosthetic, oh, not prosthetic, what am I talking about? Like fake limbs. Like Kim Kardashian wasn't happy with her body, so she cut off her arms and now she has fake limbs. She looks like Woody. But like, no, she is literally the face of people who get body enhancements on certain areas of their body. And like my whole feeling on that thing in general, like, I get it. If you're really unhappy with the way you look, I would suggest maybe like taking more time, maybe talking to like a therapist, some of your friends, or really pushing yourself to start loving your body. And if it's like, I don't like my weight, try exercising more. If you're not able to do that, maybe just like, I feel like everybody should try, like, that should be the last thing you do. But obviously, if you know, if you really want to modify a certain part of your body, I mean, you know, it's your thing. Personally, it's not my favorite taste. It's not what I prefer. It's not what I think is healthy for a lot of people. But to each their own. If it really makes you a happier person, that helps you live a happier life, like after that, you're more confident, you're outgoing, you can be yourself more. I think that's great. But Kim Kardashian tries to like put herself in this light of, I mean, any of you guys who have seen the clip where she was telling her daughter or whatever, when they asked, like, why are you guys famous? And she was like, well, your dad, Kanye, is a songwriter, all these things, like an artiste. And your mom is so good at so many things, I can't even begin to name them. Like, you are not talented, or I should say, you're not as talented as you think you are. I think she might have some, like, obviously I don't follow everything she does that in depth. I would argue she has maybe some talent in fashion, stuff like that. Maybe some of the pieces she comes out with. I don't know if she does makeup or scents or anything like that. But she obviously has something. She's entertaining for a lot of people to watch when they would watch, like, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and people keep such close eye on what she does. But to me, it's just such a, like, fake. It's just so, it always feels so fake, everything she does. Whether it's like literally her body, the best part of her body is fake. And I think it's kind of poetic that when you take the dress of a naturally beautiful woman and you try to fit, she couldn't fit in the dress originally because her butt, like the zipper wouldn't go over her butt. And that's what I think is so poetic, is like when you have the dress of a naturally beautiful woman, when you try to put your fakeness and your insecurities in that dress, you can't even fit the dress she walked in. So I think that kind of shows, you aren't even close to Marilyn Monroe. Like, if you were around back then, you would not, like, if Kim Kardashian was around when, I don't know, when, like, those kind of surgeries aren't around, she's not famous. She's a regular person. She's just not famous to me. I don't think really much of any of them are. I mean, you could say, like, who's the main Jenner? Is it Kylie or Kendall? I know they're both pretty big, but who's the one with Travis Scott? Kylie. Okay. So, yeah, because she's the one who has, like, all the makeup and all that, right? She's pretty successful in all of her industries, so I think she definitely has a very good taste and knack for it, even though, her body is also very fake, surgeries, all these things, and that's really just what surrounds the Jenner slash Kardashian names. It's a lot of people trying to be other people. So, I don't know. I don't think if you actually had respect for Marilyn Monroe and who she is, that you wouldn't wear the actual dress. If you want to own the dress and have it in your house as like a display, or maybe it's a motivation thing, or or maybe like when you saw it as a kid, you're like, one day I need that dress. Like, I think that's totally fine. But could you guys imagine if like the Lakers drafted a very promising shooting guard and they let him wear Kobe's like last game shoes or something? We would be going crazy for someone even touching Kobe's shoes, owning his shoes. That's like if somebody went to a fight in or Muhammad Ali's gloves. Like, you don't understand that you respect that history and the ground that they broke and like everything they've done. You keep that stuff that was theirs, that's so iconic. You keep that in a museum, and if you're able to buy, like, I don't know, whoever decided they should buy it and they should sell it and they should approve of her like wearing it, that they're also very much to blame. But you need to keep and preserve those things. And to now, that dress is also going to be synonymous with Kim wearing it and the controversy around her, and it just seems like another way for her to try to make headlines, which obviously she did, because here I am talking about it now. But I still think it's the most ridiculous thing. I don't think she should have worn it at all. And it's just stupid. So I don't know. I want to hear, especially from the women who may be watching this podcast or whatever. Obviously, I want to hear everybody's take on this. But more importantly, the women, how do you as a woman feel when you see somebody like Kim Kardashian wear Marilyn Monroe's dresses? What do the two women mean to you? Do you, like, is it really a big deal? Like, whatever, I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. So just let me know that down below in the comments. I'm going to be very interested to see what some of you guys say. But of course, I also want to hear everybody else's opinions and thoughts on everything in the podcast. So if you hear something you want to talk about, drop it down below. Anyway, moving on. Now, I want to talk about, we're talking about the GOAT now. Let me chill. Let's see, in, what is it? 8 days. In 8 days, we are going to have Kendrick Lamar drop another album. Y'all, I'm so excited for this. And I want to talk about some expectations and some predictions, because once the album drops, I'm going to make a podcast, and that's going to be the main thing I talked about, the same way I did with the off season. When it's an album that's that big that I'm excited for, I make sure I have a podcast episode about it. Like, I listened to like Denzel Curry's last album, and I haven't listened to Future's or any of the other ones, because I'm not as hyped about those. But we're talking about Cole, Kendrick, Drake. I did it for CLB, Donda. I did it for the off season. I'm gonna do it for God, what's the name of it again? Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? Okay, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, MMATBS, M-Tabs then, and the big. Oh no, and. MATBS? Okay, whatever. It's a stupid acronym, whatever. My predictions and expectations, or I guess foresight or whatever it is, I'm thinking the album is going to be a freaking masterpiece. I think it's going to be as good as To Pimp a Butterfly. I don't think it's going to be the same connected story or thoughts and themes the way To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City was. I think it's going to be a mixture of T-Pap and Darn. I'll just say, and Damn. I think it's going to be T-Pap and Damn combined into one album where it's a collection of amazing singles, but they are all filled with like things to think about. Because what last time Kendrick dropped an album was like 2017? Was Damn, right? It was 2017. 2017. I wasn't even 18 yet. I remember I was still working in Foot Locker, and Loyalty came on in the store repeatedly. Loyalty used to always come on. It was crazy. So from that point on, we still have the things he's been going with concerning COVID. We never heard him talk about the George Floyd incidents and all the protests. We haven't heard him talk about so many different things. I wonder if he's going to touch on it. I feel like he's going to have a Will Smith bar in there or something like that. I feel like he's going to have some mention of that in there. That's another prediction. I'm waiting for a Will Smith thing. But there's so much that happened in the world in the past. So it's been 5 years. In the past 5 years alone, there's been so much that has happened. Life has been so insane. And now we're going to hear an album where Kendrick will probably talk about his feelings towards certain things that's been going on. But we've heard him on some of Baby Keem's songs and projects. Like, he still got it. Like, that man Kendrick can still absolutely shred any song and have prolific, amazing, iconic lyrics while also delivering, which I think Kendrick has the most underrated flow of any rapper, because people are like, oh, Kendrick, he's a GOAT because I like Poetic Justice and Swimming Pools. I'm like, no, those are for sure legendary songs. What I'm saying is that man can spit so quick and can change his, like, tempo and cadence, like, on a dime. Like, he's goated. That's why he's my GOAT. So I think it's going to be an amazing album. I'm predicting a 10 out of 10, but I'll be even cool with a 9 out of 10. I heard one song he leaked called Prayer, and oh my god. When I heard that song, I literally listened to it like 30 times. You can find it on SoundCloud. There's a leak of it, but it's amazing. And if that's the kind of Kendrick we're getting, because that song had an amazing, like, jazzy piano, like, I thought of Kendrick kind of like sitting in a smoky, kind of beat down jazz bar in New York City. You know, it's like under a building. There's like a lot of cigarette smoke in the air, and he's just sitting there on a stool. And then like the band starts playing, and he's just telling stories, man. He's just straight telling stories, and it's amazing lyrics. The sound, obviously, it wasn't mixed perfectly because it's a leak. So obviously, like, he would need to up the sound of everything, and I think make his certain sounds come out more and whatnot. But anyway, I'm expecting an amazing album. It's Kendrick Lamar. He's never missed on any album ever. He's only hit. Now, you can say some albums are better than others, but, like, he hasn't missed. I think, for example, like, J. Cole kind of slipped a little bit on KOD. It was still great, but when you compare to everything else he's done, it's like a whoa, you know, kind of like a whoa, okay. And the offseason was kind of like a standing still and then, like, jumping once, and you're not, like, moving forward. But, you know, Kendrick doesn't drop as much music as, like, Drake and J. Cole, and that's why we don't get tired of him. It seems like he's still motivated, and he doesn't talk about the same thing over and over again. So I'm excited for Kendrick, his album. So now we're going to go into the Instagram questions asked by you lovely people. I put it on my story, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. If you guys have any questions for the podcast, here we go. So let's hurry up and get into this. First question comes from my boy Antonio, and he asks, what can Shrek do for this economy? Now, that's a great first question. That's a really deep, thought-provoking question. And it's funny because Antonio just got a job working at I guess I won't put him on blast, but he works at a place that my dad manages, and he works, like, my dad is his boss, so, like, in his interview, he, like, looked at my dad's desk and saw, like, pictures of my brothers and whatnot. He was like, yo, are you, like, Deshaun's dad? And he was like, yeah. And then my dad was telling me, like, yeah, we were talking about your YouTube a little bit, and he was like, he never answers my questions. Like, I'll ask, like, what can Shrek do for this economy, and he won't answer it. And it's funny because he literally said that, like, your question word for word, and now here it is on the podcast. I don't know if you guys planned it, but you guys are up to something. But what can Shrek do for this economy? So I think Shrek can make another movie, but make it be ridiculously polished. But I don't, like, Shrek 1 and 2 are some of the greatest kids movies of all time, and he's such a meme that I think Shrek should make another movie and then run for presidency, and he should start donating to ogres in low-income swamps that don't have the same opportunities that the upper class ogres have. Who So I think he needs to invest more of his movie money into those swamps, because he's not cared about the black ogres. He's green himself. I get it. Shrek is kind of from the trenches, as one could say. He's kind of like that green ogre that's invited to all the other black ogres parties. So he's definitely invited to the swamp outs. But he's pretty lit. I mean, he rules a kingdom now. Like, isn't he took over as the king for, what is it, Far Far Away, right? Yeah, but he took over as the king because the dad was a frog and took a dead. And then the mom, I mean, I don't remember, I don't think she's dead, but it's just like, you might as well be. You're just a queen. Just die. They should get Puss in Boots to just be like, bing, like in the middle of the night. Oh, I don't know, she died. Well, it's a really tiny sword spot, but I don't know. So obviously, him and Fiona are going to rule the kingdom. I feel like they have more than enough money to start renovating some of these projects in the swamps. So hopefully he starts investing his money into those people, into those schoolings, because public swamp schools are suffering a lot in education and how to be an independent ogre. So, you see a lot of them when they see a riot and they see people coming at them with pitchforks and torches. They're crumbling under the pressure and they're hiding rather than scaring them. So, I think Shrek is a good example, started from the bottom, and needs to recognize that, now that he has all of this power, he could really be investing back into his community. So hopefully Shrek does that. Hopefully Donkey does that, and he stops making those disgusting donkey dragon hybrid freaks. Hopefully, dude, you've seen the babies. They're disgusting. They look nerfed. They look nerfed donkeys. No, they look like you, with your shoulders. Anyway, you're kind of built like dragon. Anyway, moving on. Anyway. Next is a question from X for Soul Coops Cage Mc what now? I didn't write any of that down. I just decided to add that. He said he has two questions. The first one is, what is your favorite G Fuel flavor? Mine is Scorpion Sting. So a lot of y'all don't know, but 4 or 5 days ago, my boy X, the guy who I've tried G Fuel Prime with, we got, I think it was like 5 flavors we haven't had before. And recorded a lot of a G Fuel video. For some reason, like the outro, my phone kept stopping the recording. It was really annoying. But we recorded another G Fuel video. I'm probably not going to drop it because I was like watching back the footage. The flavors were all disgusting and terrible. We're just sitting there miserable, suffering, but not even in a super funny way. Like, I feel like it's more fun when we could be like, this is kind of good, this is kind of bad, this is... when it's like a mixed review, but when it's literally just like, oh, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. That's the video. Like, I think it's not entertaining. The reason he said Scorpion Sting is his favorite one, 'cause you remember when we got the G Fuels, right? Mm-hmm. We got them, and the Scorpion one that I was excited for, it was so disgusting. It didn't taste good, and it made my chest and my throat like burning. Like, it left a burning sensation. Like, it was like a spicy cinnamon like energy drink, and that is so gross to me. And it, like, we were sick after that. Like, I literally felt sick, bloated, and like almost nauseous after I drank all those disgusting flavors. We tried a crash flavor, scorpion flavor. We had sour cherry, tropical punch, I want to say, was the second one we tried, and that ruined like the rest of the video because tropical punch was so freaking, it tasted like an old pineapple, and I don't even like pineapple, but to give me an old pineapple is even worse. And there was some other stupid freaking flavor we had it was just so gross. It was such an unenjoyable video to make. I mean, we had fun because we're suffering together, but like it was terrible. So I'm not gonna drop that. But if I did actually have to pick a flavored G Fuel, it would be the Sonic Peach rings. I have bought that like 3 times outside of the video. I'm never gonna buy one again. Probably. The G Fuel's just not that good when it's in a can like that. Maybe it's better in the tubs where you just mix it in some water. But as a carbonated beverage, it sucks. So yeah. And then he said his actual question, even though I just answered that last one. He said, what is my favorite breakfast food? Now that's a really great question because I freaking love breakfast. Breakfast to me is one of the most exciting meals. I usually eat breakfast if I wake up early enough to do so. I know a lot of people are like, I can't eat breakfast, but I work overnight, so my breakfast is kind of like my break at my job. And when I get home and it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll eat breakfast again because it's so good. But my go-to breakfast is French toast. Honestly, I could do with just French toast, but if I had to add more sides, it'd be French toast. I'm starting to like scrambled eggs less, but I still like them. I can still eat them. Bacon, depending on who makes it. Little Ann over here makes some fire bacon. Like, she can cook bacon. I know people are like, well, bacon's not hard to make. But no, like, bacon can be hard to make because you can make it too chewy, you can make it too crunchy, you can get too fatty of pieces, and I hate fat. But for some reason, the one time you made bacon, it was just fire. It was so freaking good. But yeah, bacon, eggs. I would say probably an English muffin with some jam. It's pretty fire as well. But there's so many things you can do. Some breakfast fruits. Some breakfast fruits? Some breakfast fruits that you guys should try. Some of the breakfast foods that I think everybody should give a fair chance to would be like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but use like Eggo waffles. Chicken and waffles are pretty spectacular. They're pretty like decently moist depending on the chicken. There could be a couple of other things that if no, I'm not cutting that out. If you know who that is, then you know. But yeah, probably just French toast. If not that, chicken and waffles are pretty good, and breakfast burritos. Depends on where you get them from, all of them. So that would be my go-to, and also cereal. Let me not forget cereal. My bad, but I eat cereal at any time of the day. So to me, it's less of a breakfast food and more just a food, because cereal is probably one of the greatest foods of all time. You can at me if you want to. Don't make fun of my weight. I eat because I'm sad. Moving on. The final question. The podcast. And then I'm going to drink water because I'm super dehydrated. Holy crap, this is going terribly. Eddie, my boy, my assistant commentator from the WWE videos that everybody seems to enjoy so much, he asks, what keeps you going through this thing we call life? I love the way he phrases that. Like, if somebody would have told me, out of all your friends who phrase it like that, I'd be like, that's something Eddie would say, honestly. Like, how do you keep going through this little thing we call life? Like, you phrase it like that. But that's a really good question, because a lot of people struggle with reasons to continue going through life. Be quiet, bro. What are you laughing at? Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. Now I get it. A lot of people struggle with having big arms. I mean, going through this thing we call life, you know, Tizzy. And so the biggest thing, the biggest reason human beings have to be on this earth is, I mean, obviously, like, our genetic responsibilities to reproduce and to keep our species alive. That's like our species part of it. But our individuality part of it is, what is everyone's own reason to keep living? And it's different for everybody. I can't give you guys like an umbrella reason. I can tell you what my reason is, how I found it, what I had to go through to get there and whatnot. So we'll kind of jump into that. But the one thing that keeps me going through life is probably my goals and taking the time to make sure I enjoy everything along the way. And what I mean by that, excuse me while I yawn. Oh, see, look at that. I just stopped the yawn early. If you guys would have watched one of my other podcast episodes, you guys would learn that if you yawn and you stick your tongue out all the way, it'll stop your yawn automatically. Stick your tongue out as much as you can, and you'll just stop yawning. But I don't even remember what I just said was my answer. But my goals are, I want to start a family, raise a family, and my ultimate goal is to make it to a point in life where me and my partner over there, little Ann in the chair, we can sit like on our porch in this big, stupidly humongous house, and we're just sitting there watching our kids and our kids' kids, and like all like watch a family reunion that we had either a really big part in or we started. Just watch people after us enjoying life without struggle and poverty, and, you know, being able to deal with depression easier and making a difference themselves without riding the coattails of a legacy we leave behind, or losing the values and customs that we've taught, that we've had to learn from our parents and through our own experiences. So that is my biggest goal in life, is to get that, and also to spread as much love and positivity as possible, because I do try my best to be nice and at least civil to everybody I come across. There are people I don't like that much, and there are people that I think are super cringy, or I think are super rude, or just ugly on the inside and the out. And I mean, I do my fair share of, like when we vent and we talking crap and whatnot. I'll talk crap, but like, I'm in a serious matter. Like, I don't actually have hatred for anybody. I don't actually seriously hate people, and I like good things and don't like things about everybody. My closest friends, family, people I love dearly. Like, there's things I like about them and I don't like about them. If they ask me, like, well, what's something you don't like, I could find something, but it's the same thing with everybody. There should be something like that for everyone. But that's one thing that keeps me going. And the way I found my purpose, which is to make people like laugh and love and be entertained and just enjoy their life, that all started when I was younger. I was going to the Boys and Girls Club when I was a little kid, the after school thing. They'd pick us up and take us back to the Boys and Girls Club, like actual building, and we would hang out in there, and we would like play and do our homework and like, kind of socialize with other kids and have even more fun. It was like the fun part of the day. So you get to go there and just play and have snack and like do all these different things until your mom pulls up and picks you up, and you get to go home, play video games, go to sleep, do it all over again. So I was going through, and I've gone through this my whole life, especially as a child, where I was made fun of a lot from everybody, basically. Even if it was not intentionally, even if it was people just being honest and whatnot. But I was always looked at as like ugly or unattractive. And from a very early age, I remember even like first grade. When I was in the first grade, I knew that I was straight because I liked girls, and they made me eat food off my plate. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Chon, you love girls since before pre-K, tripping. That was a little Macklemore. Shout out. I don't know. I know he watches this. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? Dude, when I was a baby, actually, real quick, before I get back into deep conversation, when I was a baby, apparently I had, like, a thing for redheads. Like, I would get all, like, giggling, like, moving my hands, and would try to, like, be held by them. Like, I just love me some redheads. That did not translate at all. Well, I mean, kind of, you got red hair, and I like it, but, like, it didn't translate on where I was like, oh, I need a ginger or a redhead, So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I was always looked at as like the ugly kid. I had a lot of friends, and I was cool with a lot of people. Like, I'm not saying I would walk around and people would be like, stupid nerd, you're ugly, and like beat me up or like push stuff out of my arms or whatnot. But it was anytime I would want to have any type of relationship farther than friends with anybody, it would always be, you're funny and you're really nice and you're cool, but you're ugly, or you're not attractive, or you're not cute, or I like this, or this guy's cuter than you. Like, it was always like being judged for the way I look. And I still carry a lot of those scars and trauma to this day. I still suffer a lot from a lack of confidence in my physical appearance, but I also have gained a lot because I realize it. Like, I've gotten to a point where I literally do not care how I look when I go out in public in terms of the way I dress. Like, I'll just dress comfortably. I'll try to make it look good, but I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta pick an outfit. What are people gonna think? Like, I do not care. And a lot of that came from watching Tyler the Creator interviews. Moving on. So I was getting tired of being bullied all the time for that, and I felt so lonely and so, like, I guess, unequivalent is, I'm thinking of of the word I need, but, less valuable, substantial, anybody who would like me, or I'd have any type of relationship, even though, I mean, when you're kids, it's not really dating, but, at the time it felt like it was, any type of relationship like that, I always felt like it was always just because they thought I was funny and whatnot. And when I would want to be seen as something where somebody was what I wanted to be was seen as a person who was attractive looking, because I would kind of try to put a lot of effort into the way I looked back then. I have a picture on my Instagram, link in the description, of me where I'm like outside, and I'm like posing like this. And I have, like, a shirt that has my name. Shorts, I have, like, these wristbands. My iPod shuffles on my shorts. I thought I looked so sick. So I remember I used to always wear wristbands, but it was, like, those cotton ones. I used to have a black one with the orange Nike logo. And then I wore this hair tie because, well, that's another traumatic thing. I won't even get into that. I wore the certain hair tie and a lot of these other things because I wanted people to like. I wanted not people, women to like the way I looked more specifically, and I never got that. So I got tired of it. Constantly being harassed and made fun of and whatnot. I shouldn't say harassed because, like I said, I wasn't literally like they were coming up to me doing it on purpose. It was just anytime it would come up, like, just always like that. I was just known as the ugly kid. So I got tired of it, and some people started actually like bullying me, like legitimately making fun of me for just the way I was. That I basically became fed up with my life, and at like 6, 7 maybe around then, I, in the worst attempt known to man, tried to kill myself. Now I'm making it in a bit of a comedic light and whatnot because it's my experience, and I don't want it to be so like I don't want to minimize or desensitize anybody to any act of taking your own life. I'm not trying to make you feel like, oh, because you did it in a funny way too, or it's funny, dirt. Like, no, I'm not trying. It's just my own experience. But I was in the middle of a van on the way back to the Boys and Girls Club. They pick us up in these big vans, and I'm sitting there, and I was just like, I remember sitting there, and all the kids are talking and having fun. I just was sitting there, just like over it, and I tried to kill myself by choking myself with my own hands. Now, those of you who might know, you literally can't do that. Like, you can't put your hands around your own neck and squeeze until you die. Maybe if you put your fingers in certain places and whatnot, or I don't know. You could do it in any way. And I don't, full disclaimer, by the way, I really, if anybody's going through depression or having thoughts of suicide or taking your own life or harming yourself, please talk to somebody, a friend, a professional. Find a healthy coping mechanism. Just do not give up on your own life. You are extremely important and valuable to not only yourself, your family, your friends, society, but you are a valued human being, and even if you make a mistake, you can always come back from it and do good. Anyway, moving on. I tried to kill myself. Obviously it didn't work because here I am. And I remember one of the driver found out what I was doing because the kids were watching me do it, and they were laughing at me because they asked, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to kill myself. And they started making jokes about it in the van. So then that made me really try to turn it up and do it. Then the driver got really mad at everybody. And then we got to the Boys and Girls Club, and they immediately told they call him like the director, but they're basically like the principal of that Boys and Girls Club. She brought me in her office. She was a really sweet lady. She was this Hispanic lady named Annalise, I want to say, or something like that. Something with an A, some like really like dope Hispanic female name. It was so sick, dude. It was such a cool name. I don't remember what it was. What?
I thought you were going to say stupid, but then you said dope. I was like, what?
That's some what? No. A name like that is...
Dope.
No. Anyway, it wasn't a stupid name. You're just nerfed. She found out, talked to me, and like basically made me feel better. And this is... I don't know if... I guess it was kind of nice that she did this, but it was also kind of embarrassing. She walked me around every class and group of kids and told them, do you guys know what this young man just tried to do? He just tried to kill himself. And I'm sitting there like, bro, why are you putting me on blast like this? And she's like, so Deshaun, I want you right now, point to anybody who's making fun of you, and I want to have a talk with all of them at once. And I was like, oh, you want to find out who was really doing it? Of course, all the people who had been messing with me, like, when they heard that, they're like, oh my God, why would he do that? They're like, what? No, Deshaun, I love you. No. And I was like, oh my God, stop the cap. I hate people so much. Just try to cap because they're going to get in trouble. Anyway, I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. So, and this is stupid. A lot of people to this day still do this where, like, they'll be affected by something and somebody should be facing some type of consequence or whatever. But they'll be like, no, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to make the situation uncomfortable. That's another thing I'm just going to say real quick. If you, I'm going to specify it to women, but just in general, if somebody's making you feel uncomfortable, like if you are a woman in public and some guy says some disgusting sexual comment to you or whatever, put them on blast as loud as you can publicly and make them feel like the grossest, most humiliated person ever. Just be like, what did you just say to me? Excuse me, can somebody help me over here? Because this guy's over here. And you just go off on him. Make them feel like, oh God, people hate me here. I can never come back here again. Make them feel like that because they suck. Moving on. So I didn't point anybody out, and I just felt really bad. But ever since that day, I decided, you know what? From this day on, I'm never, ever going to attempt anything like that again. I'm never going to harm myself. Sometimes I might put myself down, but I'm never going through that again. And I'm going to make people happy and feel loved and spread so much positivity. And I'm just going to be more confident. Like, I'm going to turn my life around starting now. And ever since that day, it's been nothing but the mission and the goal is to do that. And will say I did do pretty good. I made a ton of progress on my general well-being. I had more relationships from, I mean, okay, I was 6, so it's not like I really had, like, I had all these girlfriends back then, but now I had even more. Like, I'm 7 years old. Anyway, but I was able to get over a lot of those things, I would say mostly by myself, but obviously also with the help of my friends and family who were just kind of keeping me happy and making sure I was, they were just always there for me. But I want to take some credit for myself because I made sure I made that decision and I pushed myself every day. It was really hard a lot of days. I didn't want to do it and I didn't feel like, okay, I can make it out of this hole. But you got it. I stayed focused on the goal. I realized I'm literally like, I'm 7 years old. I have so much life left ahead of me. I got to get over this. I can do it. I have dreams. I have aspirations. I'm going to accomplish them. I'm going to make it there. I'm not giving it up for anybody. I'm not risking anything. I'm going to risk as much stuff as I need to do to make it to my goal, but I'm also going to stay humble, smart, and approach it effectively. And that's the thing I think everybody needs to do, is you got to find out, first you have to realize that you as a human being are loved and you're important and you deserve everything that you can put your mind to. You deserve all your dreams to come true. Excuse me, I'm sorry, this baby puke. Oof. Anyway. First, agree to yourself that you are amazing. Set some goals. What are your goals in life? Do you want to be the most famous person in the world? Do you want to live a quiet life and make a decent income and just kind of live out your days with somebody else, maybe live out alone? Pick out your goals, and no matter what, just freaking work towards them. Just sacrifice, if it has to be like, you know what, man, I have to sell my TV to pay rent this month because I put money into my business. Do that. Like, you got to do whatever you can. If you got to eat off of ramen noodles, even though you don't need to be, but you should be, and that'll help you get to your dream quicker, financially at least, do that thing. Like, do anything you can. But we live in the best time in human history to be alive, where there's so many opportunities around, it's almost overwhelming. And I think that's what a lot of people are getting hit with, that it's so overwhelming that the traditional way is almost like the worst way to be successful in life, whatever you define that as. So just keep your nose to the floor and just freaking grind. Go for it. Keep pushing yourself. Keep the important people around you close. Let them know as much as you can that you love them and you appreciate them. Keep them in your circle. Communicate with everybody effectively, because a lot of relationships that there is a lot of love there gets ruined by bad communication. Like, if somebody asks you to hang out and you can't, just tell them, I can't this day, but I have these days off. Let's try to do something then. Or if you haven't talked to somebody in a while, hit them up and be like, hey, I know we haven't been texting a lot. I'm just letting you know. I'm not mad or anything. I've just been really busy. I love you. I hope to see you soon. Thinking of you. Like, stuff like that. Just keep people in the loop and in the know. And you never know when somebody might need your help. Be there for them as much as you can. And yeah, just spread nothing but love and positivity, and appreciate what you have and strive for what you want, so you can get what you need. And it's just, it all boils down to that. So hopefully everybody is working towards something. It's never too late to start. It's never too early to get ahead. You can absolutely do, you could literally live, like right now I'm 22. I could spend the next 8 years doing YouTube and be at the same subscriber count. But as long as I'm happy doing that, because I really want to do YouTube full time. I want that to be my job, career, and my life and then it'll lead into other things that I have, smaller goals. But I really want to do that. And if 8 years from now, if I had the same subscriber count, now obviously that would make me concerned, because I'm like, how the heck am I so stagnant? I stayed at one place for 8 years. But more importantly is I wouldn't feel like I'm running out of time, or I don't have time, or I wasted time. Like, I'm still very young, even at 30 years old, 40, 50, even 60, you can still do a lot. And you don't know how much time you have. So it's never too late to start, and to start finding stuff that makes you feel whole. And if you feel like you're in a spot where nothing's enjoyable, or you don't know what you want to do in it as a career, or for the rest of your life, you don't know what your passions are, your goals, just try as many things out as you can. Just put yourself out there. Try working out, try interviewing people, try making movies or videos, try reading, try writing, Try going to school. You can also try, I don't know, like anything. Go work at a job you don't think you can do. Push yourself to learn it and realize that you can do whatever you put your mind to. Just keep pushing yourself every day, because at the end of the day, we don't know how much time we have. We don't know what happens after we die. So what we do know is what we can do in the moment. Every single second you're spending of your life, you have the option to do something about it. So make every second count, and the rest will play out when it comes to that last day you're alive. You may not know when it is or whenever, but you want to make sure you did everything every single day to the best of your abilities. So then when you come to that journey, because that'll come naturally, that'll come on its own, you'll be able to be like, well, I did all I can. I'm ready for this next journey, this next chapter of my life. I'm ready to keep going, and make sure, you enjoy yourself, because your life is, at the end of the day, your life is all you have. So if you don't have that, what do you got? You got to keep going. Keep your life. Your life's important. I love you. Other people love you. I guarantee it. If any of you watching this know me personally and are going through something and you need somebody, let me know. Hit me up. We can meet up. We can talk, text, FaceTime. We can go get food and talk about it. We can hang out, do some fun. Whatever you need to do, I'm here for you. You have other people there for you who, like they're professional people who are there for you. If you can't afford it, like I said, reach out to your friends, your family, your loved ones. No judgment. It's all good. I got you. Anybody's got you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know we got kind of deep and serious at the end. Hopefully some of you guys who are going through some of those darker times are a little inspired, or something to kind of, put your best foot forward and start walking and moving in the direction of your goals and your aspirations, making progress. I have nothing but faith and support for you guys. I love you guys immensely. I think you guys are like just the best people in the world, and I wouldn't trade you guys for anything at all. So that being said, that was another episode of the podcast. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, month, year. Keep going. It's half of the year. Finish the other half strong. I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know what that is or when it'll be, but I'll see you in that video. Okay? See you guys later. Love you. Blah, blah.